My name's Christian Aguiar. I am Assistant Professor of English at the University of the District of Columbia Community College. If you're watching this video, there's a really good chance you're enrolled in one of my online writing classes. So in this video, I'm going to provide you with 6 tips for success in online learning based on my experiences teaching students online, but also my experience being a student online. So my first tip is that you need to make and follow a schedule. And I want to really emphasize this. If you're used to face-to-face classes, then you know every Tuesday, every Thursday, 5:30 p.m., you're going to be in room 712. I'm going to come into the room. We're going to do activities. We're going to talk about the work. And that action of being in class sort of underscores or even creates to a degree your schedule for work. If you're doing an online course where you don't have face-to-face meetings, or potentially where you don't have meetings at all, it becomes really important that you make a schedule and that you try to make it as consistent as what you would get in a face-to-face class. So for example, in the online TESOL course that I'm taking right now, I make sure that Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., I sit down to do the work for that course. I don't change it unless there's an emergency. 10 a.m., TESOL time. This is important because for me, 10 a.m. is a productive time and space. At 10 a.m., I've gotten up, I've eaten breakfast, I've worked out, but I have not begun my work for the day yet. So the first thing I do is that work for my course. And then once that's done, at 11 o'clock, I get started with my work for UDC, and that'll take me through the rest of the day. So make sure that as you shift into entirely online learning this fall, you find a time and a place where you feel really productive, where you feel like you can focus on the work you need to do. Related to both of these first 2 points, the biggest advantage of online learning, I think, is you're able to really plan ahead. Particularly in my courses, you're going to see the syllabus is complete, all of the materials online or in your textbook, all of the assignments are posted. So from day one, you really should be able to go through and say, okay, week 1, I need to do this. Week 2, I need to do this. Week 3, I need to do this. So my advice to you is to do what I do in planning courses and in taking them, and go through right now and set not just the schedule, 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday or whatever it's going to be, but also set specific actions. So on Mondays, I'm going to do the reading for the week. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do the writing assignment. On Wednesdays, I'm going to post the discussion board post. Use the structure of your online class to help you plan so you can make the best use of your time. 4, make sure you make use of online resources. So if you're used to, say, going to the tutoring center at 801 North Capitol, sitting down with someone and talking about a draft of your paper with them, you can't do that anymore, right? There's no tutoring center to go to at 801 North Capitol, but the tutoring center is still available. They now have online hours. So I would challenge you this fall to think about the types of resources that you normally use in your classes, whether those are your high school classes, if you're brand new to college, or your college classes, and talk with me, talk with your advisor, figure out how you can get those resources online at UDC. Because almost all of the resources you had before, you still have, they're just online in a new mode. Related to this, make sure you communicate really well. So if you imagine that face-to-face class, there's that period of maybe 5 or 10 minutes before class where people are still coming in. You have an opportunity to talk with your classmates. You have an opportunity to ask questions from your professor. And you've got that same time after class. In online courses, we lose a lot of that extra time where we can just kind of check in, see how everyone's doing, talk with each other, talk about problems. So it becomes really important that you find ways to still do that. So you email your professor with even small questions that you normally just ask casually before class. The other part of this, when I'm teaching face-to-face, I look for signs that students don't quite get what we're doing, and then I follow up with them individually. It's much harder for me to do that online because I can't see you most of the time. and I'm not sitting with you or sitting in a room with you as you discuss things or work on a paper or work on a project or present a project. So it becomes really important then that you think about what you do and don't understand, and that you then reach out to me and say, hey, professor, I was working on this outline that's due Wednesday. I don't quite get it. Here's what I did. Here's a draft of it. Can you look at this and tell me what I've got wrong? Tell me where I might want to focus my efforts. So if you communicate, if you let me know that you don't think you get something, and ideally send along whatever you've gotten so far, I'll be able to help you just like in a face-to-face class. The flip side of this, I don't want to dwell on negatives here, but if I don't know that you're struggling and you don't let me know, it can be very easy to go through most of the course struggling without ever getting the help you need online. So be really cautious about this. Final point, I want you to be forgiving, particularly this fall. The world is on fire right now, or at least the United States is, right? So cut yourself a little bit of slack. If things aren't going perfectly, if you feel like you're not quite doing what you normally want to do, or things just feel weird, not everything feels great, you don't love your classes like you did in the spring or the summer, be forgiving with yourself. Be forgiving with your classmates, with me, with everyone around you. We're going through a crisis right now. We're going to get through it. But in the meantime, hold yourself to the highest standard you can. But I really want to encourage you to check in with yourself, to think about how you're doing, and to really be willing to forgive yourself if you're not always doing as well as you might want to do. I hope these tips help you this fall. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on Blackboard.